I originally wanted to leave the Philippines because on a monthly, I spent around 220,000 yen to 300k yen. A lot of the older generation don't really like foreigners. But the younger generation are cool. Most of them are actually frustrated that they can't speak English because they want to communicate. And I ended up leaving the Philippines for Japan in May of 2021. So because, the scholarship, not only do I get my tuition paid, I get 120k yen and I don't have to pay anything back.
Welcome back, everybody. Once again, before we begin, a very quick introduction to our guest speaker today, Manuel Salazar, also known as Manu. Manu and I, we go all the way back from our high school days where we finished our high school education in the Colegio de San Agustin, Makati in the batch 2021. Shortly after we graduated, Manu decided to go to Japan to pursue higher education and a new experience in life. Cut to 2024, 3 years later, he decides to come back to the Philippines after not setting foot in his homeland for about 3 years, where he's able to reconnect with the culture, his friends, and his family, people he hasn't seen in such a long time. And in this video, we talk about why he decided to leave Japan, the differences between the Philippines and Japan, how he became a government scholar in Japan, and we also talk about the minor nuances of the differences between the Philippines and Japan. With that being said, I hope you stick around until the end of this video because his story is one of a kind. So to those out there that's thinking of going to take that leap of faith, fresh graduate from high school or college, university, just take the leap of faith and adjust to a different culture, Manu's story is one for you to look into. I do believe for a fact that there are many people out there that's wanting to take the risk, jump the gun, and make sure they do something risky so they don't look back in their lives thinking, I should have just went to Japan when I could have. Or, I should have just went to the United States when I could have. Manu's video here is a testament of a successful transition from a whole different culture from the Philippines all the way to Japan. So, if that's you, you're gonna enjoy this video, and if not, you're an avid listener in this channel, welcome back. With that being said, enough yapping, here's the video.
Hi guys, my name is Manuel. I'm born and raised here in the Philippines, but I'm currently studying in Japan.
In Japan?
Yeah, in Japan. Want me to do my intro in Japanese?
Yes, please go ahead.
おはようございます。サラザールマヌエル・カルロスと申します。今日本で留学していまして、今来月でも3年生になるんですけど、初めてインタビューさせていただくんですけれども、からよろしくお願いします。
よろしくお願いします。Thanks for being in the video, man.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah. Just so you guys have a background again, Manuel here, we've been friends again back in high school, CSA days, and I'm pretty sure like you Augustinians out there, there's a big following down below. So if you're an Augustinian, let us know down in the comment section. So just like Justin, I met a good friend Manu in CSA, and we've been friends ever since, and he's come back from Japan just recently, last week. Oh, man, welcome back.
Yeah, it's good to be back. It's been 3 years, so it's been a
3
while.
3 years away from the Philippines.
Yeah, 3 years away, and when I left, it was in the middle of Corona, so for the year before that, I wasn't allowed to go out, right? Everyone was at home, so realistically, it's been around 4 years since I've been here, because I haven't been out.
So how does it feel to be back in your home?
Feels great. It's changed. Everything's changed. BGC has changed. I haven't been to Makati yet, but everyone has changed, So it's nice seeing everyone else back here in the Philippines because, I was born and raised here. Childhood friends are here, so it's long overdue. Break.
So still everything, Philippines still feels like home now?
Yeah, still feels like home,
Has the Philippines been treating you well and you're welcome back?
Yeah, everyone, you met me on my first day here. I had a wonderful time. And I met some of my other friends back in CSA. I met friends, I met also my family on my mom's and dad's side, and it's good conversations, great company. Good catching up.
Well, with that being said, welcome back, man.
Thanks.
But so what brings you here anyway? Why did you come back to the Philippines?
Usually I go abroad every year. So last year I went to Canada, and the year before I went to the States. So usually it's just to meet family, my family, and to meet cousins all around the world. So my sister, she studies in Canada, so which is why I went to Canada the year before, and the reason why I went to New York the year before that, because it's kind of like the middle between everything. So right now in Japan, if you guys didn't know, once you reach your junior year, you already start finding employment. So
junior of your university.
University,
So
university.
that's what, your second year? First
year? I'm currently in my second, getting to my third year next month. So usually we travel during August, since that's usually when my sister and I are on break. And it's hot as hell in Japan, so I love to go abroad. But this third year, I'm probably gonna be finding a job and I'm gonna be busy. So I was like, all right, I gotta go somewhere this break. And you know, my sister's still in school in Canada, so I was like, let's go back to the Philippines. You know, I haven't been here.
Here in a while, right?
Yeah. So if I didn't go back this year, the next time would be next year. So.
Right. Yeah. That would take too long.
Yeah, that'll be. It's too long overdue.
Yeah.
So.
See, before we go further, could you give us a background of your education and how you grew up here in the Philippines?
As you mentioned, I'm from CSA, Kalea San Agustin, Makati, and I spent my entire life here in Makati. So I lived half of my life in Makati City, then I moved to Taguig.
Right.
Studied all the way from preschool all the way to high school. All CSA. So
you're Agustinian.
Yeah, really Agustinian. Yeah, I have the whole thing clear.
Yeah. And then obviously after you graduated, we graduated back in what, batch 21, right?
21. Yeah, 21. Yeah, 21. Yeah. 21. Yeah.
After being here in the Philippines for so long, why did you decide to leave the country?
I originally wanted to leave the Philippines because, for one, new environment. I wanted to meet new people. I wanted a new experience, right? Because if I went to college here, then you're usually with the same people.
Yeah.
Well, I bet you'd meet new people, but usually the same community, right? So my dad and my granddad, they both studied abroad in the States.
Right.
So they were like, you should probably study abroad. So I was considering either studying in the States or Japan. Since I've been to Japan once, because my sister had like a singing contest in like Kobe.
Right.
So I was there, I was like, I like this place. Systems everywhere, everything's cleanly, everything's orderly. So I considered the two. And when I was looking for schools to apply in Japan, they had like an event in like what is this, MOA? The one with the big globe.
Oh, in MOA.
Yeah, MOA, right, MOA. So there was
like an international
there was an
event,
international fair for all the Japanese schools. So my parents went up to the Japanese government booth to ask for like, what is it like to get a student visa? Is it hard? And the clerk goes to my dad and is like, you're asking the wrong questions.
Yeah.
You should be asking, how can you get a scholarship paid by the government? And I was like, I'm liking what you're hearing, scholarship, right? So they told us that Japan's Ministry of Education, it's called MEX. They actually give scholarships to undergrad, graduate, and what do you call this, PhD students. So chances of getting in is very, very low. But the clerk said, you should at least apply, right?
Yeah.
So the application process for that, for me, for undergrad, was pretty early. I think I started all the way back in like August of 2020. So I got in, I started like, I think maybe even July. So it was really early.
Yeah.
So compared to like, let's say Keio or Waseda, these are universities. These are basically the Ateneo and LaSalle's of Japan. This was like months earlier from their application process. So I applied, I got in through the document screening, then I had an interview.
Yeah.
Then I think I did pretty well for the interview. I had it like around October of like 2020. Then I didn't hear anything from them. So once it came to like February, March, I had to start applying for like Waseda and Keio. So I was like, where's the results for the, the undergraduate program? So I emailed them and they said, oh, you got in.
Oh, shoot.
So I was like, oh shit, okay. So I stopped everything. I stopped all my other applications from other universities and I said, okay, I'll take the scholarship.
And were you also applying, by the way, for different universities in different countries?
I did, I was. For the States, it starts in October, right?
Yeah.
The school year. For Japan, it starts in April because their fiscal year starts in April because that's the Sakura season. So that's why a lot of the business calendars and the school calendar start in April. I was like, oh shit, if I get this, then I have to leave Japan like in a couple months. I started my preparation for other Japanese universities and the American university because obviously I wanted a stipend, right?
Yeah.
I wanted to be a scholar. So I accepted the undergraduate scholarship and I ended up leaving the Philippines for Japan in May of 2021. So because, the scholarship, not only do I get my tuition paid, I get 120k yen and I don't have to pay anything back. So I was like, why would I not? Yeah, it's a full scholarship. So like, why would I not take the scholarship? So I took it and then I left for Japan.
Right. So really you just chose between what was coming to you.
Yeah, I did. Well, I probably would have chose more. Well, it's like, if I was applying for universities, I'd be like, okay, I'll find the culture, but it's free.
Yeah, that's the thing.
It's free. And it's such a big thing to say, I'm a scholar of Japan government, right? So it's like, fuck it, man.
So this was through the MEX scholarship.
Yeah, the MEX scholarship, right? Everyone can apply if they want.
Yeah.
I don't know if you'll get in,
but you can try.
You can always try.
If he can get in, then probably you guys can get in too.
Yeah.
So like, what was the process for you, like being a MEX scholarship and applying for it?
For the application, I went through the application, so I'll talk about more of what it's like being a MEX scholar, right? All MEX scholars go through a 1-year training of just learning intensive Japanese. It's an intensive Japanese course.
Yeah.
It's the hardest in the globe, around the world. number one, I'm pretty sure of it. So you're studying 8 hours a day, Monday to Friday, Saturday, Sunday, you're probably studying and doing homework. Well, for me, because I went there, for the people who might know, JLPT, Japanese Proficiency Test, I was an N4. Like, it's something here, but there, compared to everyone else, it's nothing. Like, if you can't speak, then you're basically cooked, right? So you go through the 1-year intensive course of Japanese, and you're split into 3 different classes. Basically, the people who can't speak Japanese, the people who can speak some or speak good Japanese, and the people who are advanced who can like read novels or whatever. So I was at the bottom. So obviously, we had more classes and we had more of catching up to do. At the first year, I was studying a lot. So I was studying like 8 hours a day. Obviously, I was out drinking also, but you know, during the day, I was studying. It was the hardest time because not only were we studying Japanese, we had to learn Japanese history, we had to learn politics, and I had to learn math all in Japanese. So that's crazy considering the amount of like Japanese characters and like Chinese kanji you gotta memorize. It was hard. So it was a lot of memorizing on my part and familiarizing myself with the language.
And then how's the process like for applying for the MEC scholarship?
So usually the regular process is that you go through a document screening, then there's a test, and then if you pass the test, you get through the interview. You pass the interview, you get the scholarship.
Is everything in Japanese also?
So my interview was in English. Depending on the country, it's different. So for the Philippines, it's in English. For Australia, it's also English apparently. But like for Korea and like Taiwan and China, it was apparently in Japanese. So it depends on your country.
I guess with all of the processes being talked about now, what's it like moving to Japan, coming here from the Philippines?
At the first year, it was great because it was my first time living on my own and my first time living alone in a foreign country. I didn't really think much about it. I lived in a dorm, so I was like more stoked that like I was living on my own. And, like, goodbye parents.
It's like the first time, first day of freedom.
First day of freedom. So for the first year, I think since it was a dorm, it was okay. It's like living with your friends. After your first year of intensive course of Japanese, you go to a national university, right? So I moved to Yokohama National University. I studied business administration, and I decided to opt for not for the dorm but to live on my own because I wanted to know what it's like to live alone. And that's my first time experiencing a lot of like dealing with the Japanese government for like registering my address, changing all my residency cards.
And you did everything all on your own.
I had to do everything on my own. That was crazy because my Japanese wasn't, now it's like pretty good.
I mean, you could just hear it from the intro as well.
But back then I wasn't that, I couldn't read Japanese government documents yet. So lots of Google Translate, lots of time spent. But I mean, like once you live, I feel like abroad, you kind of get like, kind of have the skill. Like if you don't do what you're supposed to do, then you're kind of fucked. So you just gotta do what you gotta do. I mean, like it was hard, but I had to do it, or else I'm not going anywhere, right? So
you also mentioned earlier that you moved to Japan when it was the middle of COVID. What was it like going to Japan in COVID and living there for the whole pandemic?
So COVID wasn't good. The coolest part was that when I landed in Narita Airport, I had a personal escort me around the whole airport because I was special. Because right before you couldn't enter Japan, right? It's either you're a government official or you're related to the government. I was a government scholar, so I had like someone pick me up and like guide me throughout everything. Like
and everything was empty, right?
And everything was empty, so I felt like a celebrity. So that was cool. And then a taxi picked me up and brought me to the airport, and everything was free. Everything was, paid by the taxes of Japanese. That was really cool. But besides that, once I actually started living in the dorm, it was in a more, it's in Tokyo, but it's in a more, what do you call this, rural place of Tokyo. Very, very rural side, very chill, not quiet,
far from the city.
So I didn't go as much to Shibuya. I was more of in that community of like just university students. I can't really say for sure what it was like in Tokyo itself. But what I can tell you is that in 2021, we went out for Shibuya Halloween, and there were a lot of foreigners. So I don't know, maybe it was already done. Everyone didn't really care about COVID anymore. But when I first came there, everyone was still wearing masks and everything. So here, we were required to wear like the face shield. They didn't have that there. It was just a mask. So in class, we were required to wear masks, but no one really cared. They can't force people to wear masks. They can only recommend you. They can strongly recommend you to wear a mask.
Strongly recommend you.
It's a very Japanese thing. Strongly recommend.
If you don't follow, we still strongly recommend you. It's one of those things. Was it difficult to adjust to Japanese life coming from the Philippines?
Well, for me, I never lived on my own. So I think the big thing was that I didn't have an experience living anywhere else here and
Right.
living on myself.
Yeah.
So I got used to it pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Or maybe it's just because I was really busy.
Right.
From the start, I made like a lot of friends because I was sure that if I was like alone, then
Yeah.
I'd get like depressed, right?
Right.
So I tried to build my network and everything's systemized. So there's
Yeah.
nothing like where you have to like pay the guardia so you can
Yeah.
skip the line or
Right.
whatever. Everything has a system as long as you understand Japanese.
Yeah.
That's why I spent most of my time
Right.
studying Japanese
Yeah.
because everything was fine. Everything's orderly.
Yeah.
Everything. If you need to find something or you need a question, there's someone there to help you. You just
Right.
need to know how to speak Japanese. I got used to it pretty quickly, I think.
But then my question now is, how did you find these network of people? Because to people outside of Japan, the whole conception of Japanese people is they're so uptight, they don't want to communicate
Yeah,
with
right,
you. So
right.
how did you find those people?
I'm real with you.
Yeah.
Drinking. Japanese love to drink, so I love drinking too. So mostly when I'm out with my friends,
Yeah.
there's like this park that's like right next to TFS. So
Right.
you're allowed to drink in public in Japan. So at night we'd usually just go out for a couple of drinks.
Yeah.
Just drink at the park, get your strong zero, you know, the typical foreigner things.
Typical foreigner things. Okay.
Typical things foreigners do in Japan. So
Yeah.
we go for a couple drinks. Japanese would approach us. Sometimes we approach the Japanese, and
Yeah.
everyone would like just have a good time,
Yeah.
speak with them. And even in my limited Japanese, since I was studying in like foreign language university, everyone was like open to
Right.
foreigners. So I just went drinking like a lot because not even if I just had a couple drinks, I didn't get like. There were times where I didn't get wasted just to like connect.
Yeah.
It's a good place. Like Japanese love drinking, so
Yeah.
everyone's open to like talk to other foreigners and
Even if you have zero Japanese,
yeah,
they'll
yeah,
be willing to
yeah,
speak
they're
to you.
definitely willing.
Oh, wow.
You just have to find the right Japanese because there's some that don't give a shit. right?
Yeah. Do you have any experiences with that?
I do. I do. I'll be real with you.
Yeah.
A lot of the older generation don't
Yeah.
really like foreigners.
Yeah.
But the younger generation are cool. Like
Yeah.
most of them are actually frustrated that they can speak English
Right.
because they want to communicate.
Yeah.
But most of them are willing to speak.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, why do you think the older generation doesn't really like these foreign people?
That's
We
a
need the
good
inside
question.
info.
That's a good question. I think up until now, I think before the foreigner, for me, I've met like really good and nice foreigners.
Yeah.
But I don't know about before, but a lot of the older Japanese, their only experience with foreigners are like the really rude foreigner, really loud and like you can't read the room.
Obnoxious and all of
Obnoxious.
that. Can't read the culture.
Like
also.
you've heard the news like with the geishas, like place like got
Yeah.
like foreigners are banned because
Yeah.
everyone started like touching all these
Yeah.
geishas, like you
Being
know.
rowdy and like picturing and
Yeah,
whatnot. Yeah,
so,
I've
like-
heard about that.
I think the older generation only has that image. Like they
Yeah.
don't know that there are people like us who actually respect the rules.
Yeah.
But I guess it's also our fault. Well,
Yeah.
maybe
Well,
our parents.
yeah.
I don't know. I'm not
Yeah,
saying
well,
anything.
of course, yeah, but it works both ways.
Yeah.
That's why like there's
Yeah.
also this like notion out there that tourists can't just be ignorant and say I don't know, right?
Yeah, right. Because it's a different country. It's not our country, right?
Yeah.
So we're supposed to be the one adjusting, not them.
Yeah.
I guess they've only met foreigners who are like really rude.
Yeah.
Or like they never really tried to learn the culture.
Yeah.
So since they only have that experience,
Yeah.
that's their only view of what foreigners
Right.
are.
Yeah. Now, when it comes to the younger people like yourself, like,
Yeah.
what was it like being young person in Japan, just trying to figure stuff out?
It was fun. In Japan, there's lots of things to do.
Yeah.
Lots of, if you like to do business, lots of business opportunities. If you love to party, lots of places to party. If you love drinking, lots of izakayas, lots of
Yeah.
places to drink. If you like, I don't know, walking around the neighborhood.
Yeah.
So there's lots of things to do that, you'll never be bored out of your
Yeah.
mind unless you specifically stay in your room.
How did you transition from being a Filipino to a Japanese? Because you told me
Yeah.
your first year was just very rigorous studying.
Yeah. I spent a lot of time with Japanese people.
Yeah.
Just picking up on nuances and like how they speak.
Yeah.
And then what I do is that I imitate what they say.
Right.
And if I get it wrong, then my friends are nice enough, kind enough to make
They're
a
not
joke
gonna be
about
like,
it.
oh, you have terrible Japanese.
No, they won't. They'll joke about it. Like they say, "What do you say?" And then I'll be like, "Huh? Did I make a mistake?"
Yeah.
Yeah, they were very nice. The environment around me, everyone was nice enough to correct my Japanese.
So in a sense, it's much
immersion.
Immersion
Yeah.
is the way to go, right? Yeah. Well, he's cracked the code for the Japanese people.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah, he found the right young people that want to go out and talk.
Yeah.
Does what the Japanese people love, which is drink. and
Yeah,
all of
drink.
that.
Yeah.
Immersion really just help you, no?
Yeah, immersion helps you. You have to put yourself in an environment with a lot of Japanese. I know a lot of my other foreign friends who just stay in their foreign friends whole circle and they just never go out.
And they just don't immerse themselves. themselves.
they don't
right?
try to immerse themselves. So what I tried to do is that I tried to meet as many people as I could, straight up a conversation with every person I could, just to learn because I didn't know anything, and like so I had to go out there. I had to make a name for myself because if I didn't, then I have no information. I didn't know what to do.
Do you ever just like think of the Philippines and be like, man, I miss my home?
Less of that, more of I want to meet my Filipino friends, and family. Like I can come here whenever.
That's true. You know that scholarship money is probably
it's a 4-hour ride or away. You know, it's not that far, but
it's only 4 hours.
Yeah,
is it?
But you know, when my childhood friends are here, I was born and raised here, so family is here. You miss them. You know, you want to have a conversation with them. So I think that's the biggest part. I think like
you
coming
ever
to
feel
BGC.
homesick?
No, not really.
Really? Yeah.
I love living alone and having the freedom to go home whenever I want. So
and Japan is probably one of the best places to do that.
Yeah,
it's one of the safer countries
safest
out there.
place. I can walk back home at 4 a.m. and no one would give a shit.
Would you consider yourself to be more Filipino or more Japanese?
I'd say more Japanese at this point.
Yeah.
Because like I'm not your typical Filipino, right?
Yeah.
I like I love my gago.
Yeah.
You know, type of laughter. You know, I love my kenkoi type of jokes. In terms of like my personality, I think I've immersed so much to the point where I'm more Japanese than Filipino. Well, in terms of personality and my way of thinking.
I can see that.
Yeah.
At this point, Manu, he's full Filipino, but he's more Japanese than I am.
Yeah, so
people say I'm more American, whatever that means. Now I want to talk about like your personal life in Japan, and I'm more curious to find out. Since you're living alone in Japan, do you ever feel lonely out?
Yeah, there are times where I feel like I've had someone else, but most of my friends are close by, so they're a call away, and we're all alcoholics. So you want to go out for a couple drinks, and I'm like, sure.
Everyone just bonds over.
Everyone just bonds over the alcohol.
So guys, that's the secret technique. You just gotta get conversations.
Maybe I'm too Japanese. I want to talk about alcohol.
Now I want to find out, have you ever dated anyone in Japan?
I did. So I dated this Japanese girl, 1.5 years.
A year and a half, pretty long, huh?
Pretty long,
So how is it like, what's it like dating a Japanese woman?
Depends on what type of Japanese girls you date.
Right.
So the one I dated was more open to international foreigners. So she helped at the start with a lot of my Japanese because, she'd speak to me in Japanese, I'd speak to her in English. Or like at the end, it's more, at the start it was an exchange, but at the end it was more Japanese.
Right.
So it was a good experience. So,
That's great. Maybe that's why it was easy for you to transition to Japanese.
Maybe it could have been. Maybe I got the way of like I got her Japanese or like her way of acting. Then.
And then I think next thing I want to find out, what are probably some of your biggest culture shocks moving to Japan?
It's not what the media paints it to be.
What do you mean by that?
What do you mean? Like you see all of these like vloggers and like all these people living in Japan. A lot of the media paints Japan in the wrong way. Well, obviously because they don't live in Japan and they're tasked with writing about the country they've never lived in. So there's that.
Correct me if I'm wrong. All they really talk about is Tokyo.
Yeah.
Nothing really outside of it.
Yeah. So they only talk about Tokyo. Well, obviously it's the biggest business district. So that's where most of the news is. But not a lot of news in like Osaka. Not a lot of news in Yokohama. No Kansai region. So it's a shame. It's a shame, but
Now I want to find out, Manu, what's the difference between Japan and the Philippines?
Biggest thing I thought of, like the moment I came here, mode of transportation. Good transportation systems in Japan. To the point where like if the train's like late for a couple, like 3 minutes or 5 minutes, I'm like getting mad. Like
3 minutes happening? And you're mad
What's
already?
happening? I need to be somewhere. Here I come here and like everyone's in their motorcycles and
the
cars,
the
angkas and the grabs and like right. So there was a study done. Like we lost like billions of pesos, just like the potential revenue. We lost billions of pesos just because our mode of transportation was so bad. So that's the biggest part, I think. Mode of transportation, good train system in Japan, love it. Not a thing here.
Man, so how do you get around here in the Philippines?
My dad takes me around or Grab.
And I'm pretty sure even if you're comfortable in your Grab, you want to be there as soon as possible.
I want to be there as soon as possible. Like I want to know when I'm there, right? And here it's more of like gonna be here around this time.
Right around.
Give or take
20 minutes, leeway.
20 minutes, leeway. So there are lots of underground place. I don't know about here. In every corner you go to, there's always gonna be like this mom and pop shop of like, I don't know, like
Ramen.
it can be from ramen, it could be like an izakaya, it could be like a restaurant selling like, I don't know, Italian dishes, I don't know.
Yeah.
There could be some Italian guy in the kitchen and the guy's speaking
a
full
small
Japanese
shack,
and you're like, what? No
I don't
way.
think there's a lot of them here in the Philippines.
No, I don't think so. But I'm not sure because,
Yeah.
you know,
I
haven't been here in a while, but
Yeah, well, that's for us to figure out. Again, let us know the recommendations down below because even I don't know where to go in the Philippines and I've lived here my whole life. With that being said, I want to know also about your financial situations there.
yeah.
So how much do you spend on a monthly as a student in Japan?
On a monthly, I spend around 220,000 yen
Yeah.
to 300k yen. Well, I'm on the upper side because you know I receive a stipend and I work.
Right,
And I also
yeah.
receive money from my parents,
Right,
so
yeah.
I'm on the triple decker.
So that's around how much in pesos? So you're probably like
150k
Yeah.
pesos a month max.
Yeah. I mean, obviously Japan has a higher cost of living. Is
Yeah.
that sufficient enough?
Oh, that's way sufficient.
Yeah.
I live in a nice place, so.
Yeah.
But if you live in like a normal place, like I live like very near, close to the station,
Yeah.
like 3-minute walk. If we live like 10-15-minute walk away,
Yeah.
then way cheaper.
Right.
You could get by, I'd say, with like 100,000 yen, so like 50k
Yeah.
pesos.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
In 1 month?
In 1 month,
That'll
yeah.
be okay.
Yeah. You could even bring it even down to lower if you,
Yeah.
you cook every day and you're
Right.
diligent with that stuff. But
Yeah. Okay. I heard that the Japanese government also covers for your social security and stuff.
Yeah.
So as a scholar who's, a foreigner still,
Yeah.
do you still pay for medical fees and all of that?
I'm under the national health insurance. Everyone who lives in Japan is required.
Right.
Foreigner or not, everyone
Yeah.
is required. So I'm underneath that system, and whenever I get sick, I do have to pay like I think the insurance pays like 30%.
Yeah.
I'm not sure in that. I just pay whatever is required.
Yeah.
But it's not absurd
Right.
prices, right?
Yeah.
Like, I've never paid more than 6,000 yen, so around 3,000 pesos in a single
Damn.
visit, including medicine.
Yeah. That's
There's
very
something to
good.
say. Very good health system.
Yeah.
Everything's health system's great. I don't pay for pension because I'm a student.
Yeah. Well, not yet at least.
Not yet. If I work there, then I don't know. I'm
And
gonna
the
have to start
Japanese
paying.
pension system is actually like kind of pricey, man.
It
the way
is.
you
I saw the bills and it's good thing I don't have to pay this.
Yeah. You gotta start saving and not drinking.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to start saving.
Okay, now that you've lived in Japan again for like 3-4 years, can
Yeah.
you tell us maybe your craziest, wildest story in Japan?
Craziest, wildest story. I have a lot. There was this
Yeah.
1 month I was like drinking every single day.
Yeah.
And it's not like drinking like sipping like a cocktail or something.
Yeah.
I was like
Blacked out kind of thing.
yeah, not blacked out, but I was like drunk. I was like
Yeah.
going to bed, like my head turning around. So it was like so bad to the point where like friends were like, we
Yeah.
were basically hopping to everyone's house. So what we'd do is we'd wake up afternoon, everyone would either go to their job and then we'd all meet up at night. I don't know, do billiards, do darts, go to
Yeah.
karaoke, and then we just start drinking until like 5 a.m. and then like eat McDonald's
Yeah.
and then go back to sleep.
Yeah.
I did
And
that
do
for
it
like
again the
solid
next day.
month. Yeah, and do the same thing for the next day. Solid 1 whole month of doing
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
That was not good for my liver.
Man, that's the university life.
That's the
man.
university
You know?
life. Maybe that's normal.
Yeah, so I know some of you viewers out there are gonna bash Manu. You gotta stop drinking, man. I mean, one, he's a university student,
Yeah.
and like, we're not gonna be 20, 21, 22.
Yeah, and it's also
forever.
Japanese, so
Yeah. To wrap up now, we're gonna ask you a few more questions. But what's it like studying in Japan, man?
it's fun. I think a lot of people
Yeah.
that they didn't like Japan
Yeah.
or like they hated it.
Yeah.
Maybe if they live in the province, and that's your problem. Why did you go to the province? That's a you
and
problem,
again, Japanese
not me.
province is very, very quiet.
Yeah, very quiet.
Very
Nothing
quiet.
in
Yep.
the province. Don't go to the provinces.
Unless, I mean,
For vacation,
for
yeah.
vacation, yeah.
Don't live there. So that's a you problem if you went to the province.
Yeah.
Went to the province. But if you went to Tokyo or you went to Kansai and you still had a bad experience,
Yeah.
I think you just need to be more outgoing. Get out of your circle. Meet
Yeah.
new people. Have new experiences. If
Yeah.
you never tried this, try something new. You know?
Right.
There are lots in Japan. There's a community for everything, right?
Yeah.
If there's something you wanted to try but never got
Yeah.
to doing it, then do it in Japan. There's a community for it. There are
Yeah.
people welcoming for you,
Yeah.
welcoming, and they teach you the ropes and everything.
and then
so-
to find that group, you gotta
Yeah.
go to the izakayas, right?
Well, that's for me.
For you.
But you meet a lot of people in izakayas. I'll give you that.
Yeah.
I met like some CEOs in like
Yeah.
it's crazy.
Yeah.
They give you a business card and you read it and you're like CEO.
Yeah.
And you were like
Sophomore.
you don't look like a CEO.
Yeah. Dang, okay. So So I guess that's, again, build your connections, right?
Build your connections.
Izakayas, yeah.
Be out there.
Yeah.
Be out there. You can't be in your room doing whatever. In our Mex scholarship, there's one girl that dropped out.
Oh, shoot.
Yeah, she dropped out. Like she went back home to. She was from Paraguay.
Yeah.
And she didn't have a lot of friends.
Yeah.
She wasn't really outgoing, so I kind of felt bad for her because she was my classmate.
Right.
So
Yeah.
in my class we were only 6, and we were from the bottom, dirt bottom. We didn't know any Japanese, so it was kind of sad to see one of us fall down because we were the smallest class. We were the underdogs, right? To see her go back was heartbreaking. So I wish I talked to her more. One of my regrets, but
it's okay. Well,
yeah,
there's gonna be more people who's gonna come to Japan.
Yeah,
I guess now to the viewers out there, would you recommend them to go into a different country, zero knowledge of the culture and the language, and study there?
Yeah, I would. Well, for Japan, it was great for me. I don't know about other countries. For Japan, it's relatively safe.
Yeah.
So you can do whatever you want and you'd still be alive, right? So it's a good experience because you mature, you change as a person, you find your clique, you find your values, and you find what you want to do in life. You know, changes you as a person. It's a good experience. I think everyone should do it.
Yeah.
Definitely. Definitely. Doesn't have to be Japan. It can be
anywhere, right? Yeah.
It can be
anywhere.
anywhere.
If you could get a scholarship like him, it would be much, much better.
Oh yeah, governments in East Asia give scholarships.
Good scholarships
Good
too,
scholarships,
right? Yeah.
You just have to search.
Would you also recommend the viewers out there and other foreigners to visit Japan?
Come to Tokyo, man. Everyone goes into Kansai, bro.
Yeah.
Kansai.
Everyone just goes to Kansai and Tokyo,
Everyone goes to Kansai. Go
Yeah.
to Tokyo, man. Like I'm here.
Hit him up.
Everyone else who went to Kansai before Tokyo, I'm calling everyone out here. Like, come on, man. I'm waiting. Like, they messaged me like, I'm going to Japan.
Yeah.
Where are you going? Kansai.
If you
bro,
go to
I'm in Tokyo.
Kabukicho, message him.
Yeah, bro, I'm waiting. Japan's good. Cheaper flights to go to Tokyo compared to
Narita.
Kansai. Cheaper flights.
My last flight there, I only paid like 13K pesos. It's very good. Yeah.
I recommend it. Go do whatever you want. You want to go clubbing? There are clubs in Japan. You want to go to the rural side, you want to go walk, want to experience the Inaka lifestyle, the rural lifestyle. They have that.
Yeah.
You like your springs and onsen, they have that. They have everything.
Perfect. You can even go to the onsens with monkeys, you know?
Yeah, that's one of my bucket list things to do. Yeah.
Man, okay, so to wrap things up now, I'm just gonna ask you some quick fire questions.
Go ahead.
And the very first one that comes into your mind is what you gotta answer.
Okay, got it.
Philippines or Japan?
Japan.
Filipino food or Japanese food?
Japanese food.
Filipino people or Japanese people?
Japanese people.
Filipino women or Japanese women?
Japanese women.
He's quick-witted. Asahi beer or San Miguel beer?
Asahi beer. No, this is not a debate.
I still prefer San Miguel, man.
No.
Philippine weather or Japanese weather?
Japanese weather.
Even in the cold?
I like the cold better.
Oh, okay, that
For the
explains it.
summer, Philippines.
Yeah.
Because it's so humid in Japan.
Yeah.
I hate the Japanese summer.
Yeah. Oh, it's the worst. Philippine beaches or Japanese beaches?
Philippine beaches.
Okay, you can't beat. If you said Japanese beaches, I'll be like,
No,
come on, man, it's terrible.
No. In the Philippine beaches. Right?
Yeah. Japanese friends or Filipino friends?
Filipino friends.
Okay. Now, Manny Pacquiao or Inoue?
Manny Pacquiao. I'm sorry. That's my Filipino blood in me. I watched his fights. I watched his fights against Mayweather.
Yeah.
I remember that.
Yeah, it was an okay fight, man, but it was good to see
most
Manny
memorable
fight.
because I watched him with dad. So.
Yeah. Okay, well, with that being said, is there any last words you want to tell the viewers out there?
Go abroad, experience new things. It'll change you. It's worth the
Take
money.
it from him. He used to be, we've been friends for like 5 years. He's like stay at home, stay in the room kind of person, introvert, and now he's talking to random people, CEOs and izakayas, man.
Yeah.
You can't script that.
It changes you.
Yeah.
No, abroad changes.
Well, with that being said, make sure to follow Manuel down below in the comment section. All his links, his TikTok to Instagram, LinkedIn even. So if you also want Japanese houses and properties, he's your guy.
Yeah, I'm getting my real estate license, so you'll contact me. I'll be getting it by this October. So.
Perfect. Well, with that being said, thank you so much for your time. It's been a pleasure, man.
It's been a pleasure.
Welcome back.
Thank you.
Now we're gonna go party.
Yeah, I'm going drinking.